All right, Williams and Bloom on your Wednesday, the Wednesday pod, presented as always by our friends at Mechdine and the Mechdine Corporation. Go to mechdine.com today if you hate your job. How do you like that for a promo? I'm serious, though. It's a really great company. I know the CEO. I know a lot of its leadership. They are constantly looking for Iowa Staters, IT, visual video services, software services, even like if you're into marketing or maybe it's you want to like just a desk job, like reception. They have everything.
You want to know something cool?
What? Yeah.
I was talking to so Iowa State's letter winners folks have a networking career office. Clover was in there the other day trying to figure out internship opportunities for the football team.
Oh, great.
Which is actually really hard for them because it's hard for your traditional companies to work around the schedules of a football player that has other demands. They actually struggle sometimes to find those right fits for these guys. But Clover's like, what are we going to do to help? So he's not only helping us, he's helping We Will. He's helping the legitimate Iowa State athletics through networking and career opportunities for the guys, too.
Awesome. Mechdine not only supporting Cyclone Fanatic, but they do a lot of good things for Iowa State in general. We did a lot of football previewing the season on Sunday/Monday show. We are going to go all basketball today as I'm starting to get some tidbits coming out of practice. You know, they're getting ready for this Bahamas trip, so we'll get you prepped for that. Before we do that, we are having our golf outing on the 16th. And Bloom, you've done a lot of work in getting this set up for us. This will be a couple of things. It's a golf outing / it is a road show.
It could be one or both or neither, or hopefully not neither. But
hey, by the way, Colin Newell's playing with me, by the way. We're playing. You can play. We need a force.
Okay, I actually had this is what I love about people. My guy Jay on the forums reached out. He said, "Hey, I want to pay double what the entry fee is to be able to play in your group."
Oh.
So
okay.
Me and Jay are going to be on the team. Can I tell you how to do it? How to sign up?
Yes. I would love this.
Okay, so
it's in Storm Lake on August the 16th.
At Lake Creek Golf Course. So the best way to sign up, $125 per person. That includes the dinner that follows, the social that follows, if you want to stay.
And we're going to do a full program previewing the season.
The whole shebang.
Yep.
This covers golf, dinner, but the great thing is literally 80% of this money, this $125 is coming to We Will to help out. So not only are you getting around to golf at a really nice golf course, staying for the social and everything else, but then you're also helping out We Will. They're legitimately giving us $90 of that entry fee. So the best thing to do, and I would love to fill this up, they have room for 36 teams, so plenty of room. You can sign up as a foursome, which would be great. If you're an individual, we could probably find partners for you. But call Lake Creek Golf Course at 712-732-1548 and ask to sign up for the Cyclone Fanatic We Will Golf Outing. Would love to fill that up and have a great time on Wednesday, August 16th. Shotgun start around 11:30 or noon.
Okay. Give that number. It's 712-732-1548.
Yes. And ask to sign up for the Fanatic.
And they said they'll take your payments the day of the golf.
Correct.
I can't wait. I'm creeping back into golf.
Yeah, you sounded like it.
Man, I've played twice this year and I've just been hitting the hell out of the ball. But I know how it works. Like, it's all mental. And I haven't thought about golf in 7 or 8 years. I don't care anymore. So I'm going out there and just killing it. Once I start to think that I'm good again, I'm going to start sucking. So it's like, this will be my third time and I'm not playing again.
I'm playing like 4 times this week. So my game's locked in. I'm in the perfect guy for a member guest right now because my handicap is not reflective of. This is how you win in member guests, is you inflate your handicap. I'm not giving away all the secrets. People know this. And then you play a lot, and maybe you don't mark down a score or two. Is that unethical? Potentially. But anyway, handicap's a lot better than it says on the old USGA website.
I was just in Storm Lake last week. I had to go and speak to some partners of ours, and I hadn't been there in a really long time. I don't think I had been to Storm Lake in 25 years.
Big old resort right there on the lake.
Yeah,
stay at.
It's not a bad.
Go stay there.
For like 4 days, and I'm kidding. No, we're not, because fall camp will be going on, and it is that time of year.
But would love, seriously, 712-732-1548 Lake Creek Golf Course. Please sign up.
What's fun about it is that this area doesn't get much stuff. So I think we're going to have a great crowd. These are the exact types of areas that we want to go with these people who are really into it. And Evan there at the golf course has just been awesome to work with. Yep. He reached out from us on day one when he knew that we were looking for road shows. This is the exact type of place that I want to go.
And if you're not a golfer, you can still come to the program /social following.
Yes.
And we'll have some men's basketball and women's basketball players there potentially as well.
Before we get into these practice notes, we didn't do this earlier this week, and we absolutely should have. The Dedric Willoughby story.
Yeah.
Really stopped us in our tracks when we learned that last Thursday, that the Cyclone legend passed away at the age of 49 years old. You wrote a great column about it, Brent, because it's one of those deals where this was how it was when Johnny Orr died too. It's like, I can't capture this. I wasn't an Iowa State guy when Dedric Willoughby played there. I certainly remember him harassing other teams that I would watch. And then he played for the Bulls, and just a lot of great memories there. And this is 49 years old, man. It just doesn't. It's like a lot of those McCarney football players where you think about it. It's like it doesn't seem possible.
Yeah, and he was one of those guys. It's like almost you didn't think he'd get older. Like, he just played the game, running around all the time, constant energy. I mean, just keeping up with a little bit of him on Facebook and Instagram, looked like the guy hadn't aged one bit. And reportedly passes away of a heart attack while playing pickup basketball. And it's just like, God, I mean, like it was dual layers for me. It's like, man, that was Dedric, that team, that 95 through 97 era of Iowa State basketball, still my favorite. And I know it's because I was an impressionable. I was 11, 12 years old, like we all are. But those guys, I mean, they were the epitome of Iowa State, where nobody gave them a chance. They were picked dead last in the league. They had a bunch of nobodies, honestly. And I didn't mean disrespect of calling those guys nobodies. Like, I had somebody say, hey, that's not very nice to the Kenny Pratts and the Sean Banks. I didn't mean it like that, but just like the reputation wasn't there. Nobody had heard of these guys, and they were awesome to watch.
It's like Robert Jones going to the Sweet 16.
Yeah,
we love him.
Yeah,
and
I
this is this guy from Denver.
I felt bad because somebody said, you didn't have to insult Kenny Pratt. I didn't mean to insult Kenny Pratt. I loved Kenny Pratt. But the point is, these guys had zero expectations. They played a style that everybody had to buy in, very similar to the way TJ had to turn that around.
That's what I said. It's a very similar deal.
Of this team, you had this monster shot blocker in Kelvin Cato, who was way better than even he knew he was. But then Willoughby was the offense. It was basically nobody else can do much. If Kenny Pratt couldn't get a free throw opportunity, then it was Dedric's going to run around a bunch of screens, like he was Steph Curry, and make a bunch of jump shots. And he did it effortlessly. And those teams, that was the best Iowa State team up to that point of my life when I was 12. Because let's remember, Iowa State football was awful. I was born in '84. Iowa State football was awful that whole time. And even basketball had Johnny Orr, but it's not like Iowa State was making Sweet 16 runs. They weren't. And so that Dedric team that won a Big 8 championship in '96, the final Big 8 championships, that's the first time I've ever seen Iowa State win anything.
Wow.
It was. That was it. Never won a bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
Never won a conference championship.
And if you're saying this, there's thousands of people listening who had the same experience.
Never won not even a conference tournament. Looking back now, why did we put up with all that? We didn't do a thing.
Yeah.
Women's basketball was horrible. Wrestling was still pretty good, but track and field was good. But this is there. Iowa State athletics was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Even the last couple of years where football has been a little bit down, at least you had basketball winning things or going to a Sweet 16, or even basketball was down that one year that you win a Fiesta Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
In the mid 80s to early 90s, you had some teams. Johnny was fun. Don't get me wrong. Did make a Sweet 16 in '88 with Hornacek and Greer, but I don't remember that. I was 4.
Yeah.
So, but that team was like, oh my gosh, you actually can win at Iowa State. There was a point growing up, it's like, I don't think Iowa State's ever going to win anything. Like, that's what you couldn't beat Iowa. You couldn't do anything. But Dedric and team proved that. You win the Big 8 over Kansas. And it literally, when you're 11 years old, it was like beating that boss at the end of Super Mario Brothers, like you didn't know was possible.
Bowser?
Yeah, like Bowser. You're
Yeah.
beating Bowser.
Oh, my God. That
And
was so stressful when you would get to that.
You're just like,
oh,
gonna have to turn it off.
man.
But Dedric and the guys did that, and then they rose the next year all the way into the top 5. And this was in the middle of the Sports Center golden era, where the only way you saw your team on Sports Center is if you were good or ranked.
Yeah.
You couldn't watch them, and they were on local TV.
Well, because Sports Center would do everything.
They
back
did
then,
everything.
too.
So and then
NHL.
yeah. And it was, I still remember, I think it was Kenny Mayne, not Kenny Mayne, maybe it's Kenny Mayne or Craig Kilborn. You go Kilvin Ketu. And it's just like that. That was my impressionable years, and I loved that team. And can I just share this real quick? So I wrote that, and actually somebody just wrote me a note today. It was from Dedric's sister.
Oh.
And she wrote, "Thank you for this article. This is my favorite of my brother that I've ever read. Thank you for sharing."
Oh, that's awesome.
Like, oh my gosh. Like
good for you.
Yeah,
man.
no,
That's
but
great.
I just like, I guess the whole point of this was, and we'll talk about basketball here in a little bit. A lot of these players, they come to Ames, they don't realize the impact they're making probably until it's too late. And that's like, I would have loved to tell Dedric, I've never met him outside of this camp where I got to play him in a game of knockout. I never got a chance to tell him how much impact he made on my childhood and learning what it's like to win. But then also, as importantly, C-Dub, that when they lost to UCLA, it was learning how to lose. And in a weird way, and I don't mean to compare sports with legitimate grief, but that teaches you how to compartmentalize emotions. And, you have to go through difficult things in life. And something like that actually helps, not to get totally philosophical here.
I think one of the things, too, it's like Willoughby didn't grow up in an era as a player. When I say grow up, not as a child.
Yeah.
With Twitter where fans could reach out to you.
Correct.
And there's pluses and minuses here. Sometimes fans can be awful to players, which we would encourage you not to do.
Yep.
But I've seen it. But most of the time, it's very positive. It's very uplifting to the player.
Great point.
And, a guy like that never, you feel the love when you go out in Hilton and you have a standing ovation and people come up to you on the streets or whatever. But you don't get that constant outpouring love like a guy like, say, Monte Morris probably gets.
Yeah, or Niang.
Yeah.
Dedric was here for 2 years, left. I think he came back once or twice. I think he actually thought about getting his degree and coming back, but not the same. I mean, now it's different.
I think he started that process.
I
don't know if he finished it. I know he started it.
But and I guess the point is, like, for even the student athletes now, when they're on campus, they probably feel the stress and they feel all that, but the impact they're having on some of these younger people specifically is really, really cool. And I think that's really the power of college sports. And, here I am 25 years later after this stupid game of knockout, and I remember it like it was yesterday. I'm almost 40 now. But that was literally a highlight of being a kid. And Dedric doesn't know that.
Yeah.
And I wish I would have been able to tell him. And that was kind of the point.
I had a similar experience when Tinsley came back for that prom reunion that 1 year. Remember that?
Yeah.
And you could tell he was just not ready for the just media wanting to talk to him. I think he was kind of like, why do all you guys want to talk to me?
Why do you care about me? And that's the thing, is it's totally, when these guys go out, I don't think they realize how big a deal they really were until they come back and kind of get to soak it all in again.
Boy, it's a plus when you play at Iowa State for that matter.
Yeah,
I mean, if that matters to you, like legacy and stuff like that, like these guys are legends.
And I'm glad Dedric is in the Hall of Fame, where he deservedly is. He's still, if I go down my favorite list of Cyclones that I've watched play, he's still at the top. I mean, for you young guys and gals, he was basically Tyrus McGee, but could play defense too. That's the type of impact he made on a game.
Thank a few of our sponsors, and then we're going to get into these notes on the basketball practices. Gravitate Co-working has been with us for a really long time. We really appreciate our friend Jeff Wood and what they do for us. I want you to go to gravitatecoworking.com. Look at locations right now in downtown Des Moines, the East Village Des Moines, in Windsor Heights, and also in Jefferson. You can have anything you want, Blum. You can have a mailbox. You can have a desk. You can have a floating desk. You can have your own damn office if you want. They got everything at gravitatecoworking.com. They're actually, I'm seeing on their website right now, a private office in the downtown location. These are hard to find, is available right now at gravitatecoworking.com. Also, our friends at Kelderman Manufacturing. Listen up, farmers, when the harvest is in full swing. Our friends at Kelderman Manufacturing, they know time is important. And that's why, man, I think it was like 45 years ago, Jeff Kelderman's dad invented what is called the Kelderman corn reel. It is a fully adjustable. This is above my pay grade for exactly what this is. But what it does, Bloom, is it allows you the variability to speed up and slow down your reel and do all the. Because what you don't want is to screw up all your corn. Right? Can we agree with that? You don't want to knock it all down, the wind, all this stuff.
Weather can be a bad deal for corn, right?
The Kelderman corn reel, they came up with this incredible invention to help with damaged corn. Farmers no longer have to leave their crop in the field. They can salvage that would have normally been lost when it's been knocked down and do all that stuff. And that's what the Kelderman corn reel does. So it helps you save that harvest.
My gosh,
they do a lot of different stuff, but the corn reel, what they do. So listen up, if you're a farmer listening, if you're one of our Wiffles seedsmen out there, listen up and remember the Kelderman corn reel for when you guys have problems. Kind of need to plan on having problems during harvest, and then hopefully you don't. But if you do, remember our friends at Kelderman in Oskaloosa. All right, I'm just going to give you some notes.
Please.
Now, I gave these to our insiders, our Cyclone Fanatic premium subscribers on Monday, and I'm going to kind of go down the list here and talk about them a little bit.
I haven't seen these yet. So
it does sound like Taman Lipsey's been working really hard on the three-point shot. Now, is he Matt Thomas? Absolutely not. But
doesn't need to be.
From what I understand, the confidence is way up for Taman, and he's earned the right to, not get passed up in the offense now. Whereas last year it was like, okay, Taman, you got to play, but you can't shoot threes.
And it took teams a while, but towards the end of the year, it became an issue.
Yes,
where they were just literally playing like
that
a
second
sagging zone.
Scout of the Big 12 is so hard.
When you're limited,
when you're limited talent wise, the second time around the Big 12 is brutal.
If he is a threat from out there, it just opens up the floor. Because what would happen is that his guy would just sag off of him in the lane, and it clogged everything else up. So now it makes it way harder on Jaron because Jaron couldn't get in the lane anymore, and it takes away that mid post from Oshun, and it did all this stuff. Not Taman's fault completely, but these coaches are really good, so they will snuff out your weakness and make you pay for it. And even the threat, if Taman could shoot 35% from three at an acceptable rate, huge, absolutely huge.
That would be. I'd sign up for that now. For 35, bring it on.
Yeah.
Hassan Ward is a totally different guy than he was a year ago, and it sounded to me, from what I understand, he really, we saw him come on in March. He looked a lot better in March than he did even in February.
Yes.
But people need to remember that he missed the summer last year because of that passport or visa issue or whatever was going on there. And I think he's really pushed Jones to be the starting five for Iowa State.
So much bigger than when he got here. I
haven't seen him, but I've heard he's put on a lot of weight.
Just looks the part. Now, I got something special for the premium members. Do you know this? I don't know if I've talked to you about this.
All right.
So I want people to get to know Hassan a little bit more. So when they're down in the Bahamas, I've come up with an arrangement with Hassan.
Okay.
To speak directly to the premium subscribers after the games in the Bahamas.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Look at this.
Yep. Forgot to tell you that.
Breaking news.
Yep. So if you're a premium member or if you're a We Will Club member, we're going to find ways to have Hassan hop on after games in order to give the people the scoop of what happened. Maybe the only way you find out about really all the inside details.
Do you remember, I think we have talked about this, I think a couple weeks ago, the Royce White year, and we were all streaming those games in like Italy or whatever.
Yes.
I hope we can do that this year's team. I'm ready.
It's not, they won't.
Oh,
they're not going to put anything. They'll have some.
Is it in Atlantis?
Yeah, somewhere down there. I don't know.
Okay,
exactly
I didn't
where
know if it
is.
was like the actual like
I don't,
same
I'm
ballroom.
not sure. I'm not sure either.
Felt like
However,
probably not. But
there is internet, and so we're gonna have a couple of Zoom calls with Hassan while he's down there.
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, no, he's been really good.
He's up to two. This is, I don't know if this is updated, but the website has him at 225. He came into Iowa State at 185.
Okay, that's so the other guy in the same vein is Trey King, which we all saw him be pretty good in the Big 12 last year, but still, and if you guys haven't read it, I did that piece on him in March about his development and how hard it is to actually be a mid-year transfer. Or he wasn't a mid-year, but
Yeah.
to start in the middle of the season in the Big 12, it's a brutal task for anybody. And he physically got a taste of like, oh, okay, this is where I am. This is where I need to be. And from what I understand, his rebounding and like this physicality on defense are considerably better.
Yeah.
So it sounds to me, and then you throw Omaha in there,
Right.
that the front court should be, and then you have Jones
and Momcilovic,
yeah,
or Momcilovic, actually.
Momcilovic.
Yeah, that's the actual.
I don't
correct
think of him
pronunciation.
as a front court guy. I know that I still think of him as like a wing, I guess, but
He's a big wing.
yeah,
He's a Grady Dick.
yeah. Momcilovic.
Yep.
But no, you gotta. I think you love the front court. Gilbert, the kid from UNLV.
Yes.
He might be. So I'm thinking a Lipsy Gilbert on ball duo
Intense.
is pretty good.
That guy, somebody told me before he got here that he played the hardest of anybody in the Mountain West Conference. Like, played the hardest. Just he was not going to let you outplay him. He's lived up to that. Now, is he the most skilled shooter? Probably not yet. But Gilbert is going to have a major impact defensively for sure. I think he's going to score too. I mean, I'm telling you, these three guys they got in the transfer portal, when we look back, we're going to say, how in the world did Iowa State get those three guys in the same offseason with the current climate? And it's just kudos to everybody for how that whole thing turned out, because these three are all going to play. Gilbert may be the most productive of the three.
Yeah, I don't.
And I'm really high on Pav, and we've talked about Curtis Jones already too. I mean,
I love Jones.
This
I don't know Pav. He's the one I don't feel like I know enough about. I need to be able to watch some Wofford tape. He's the one guy where I'm kind of, but everybody seems to really like it.
Yeah, it's July, late July. Don't know until the lights really turn on. But it just seems like the skill for this team is so much better than it has been the last couple of years.
Those were the notes that I kind of had. I do think because I know a lot of people will be like, well, give me an update on Blue, Momcilovic, stuff like that. Well, I think one thing that we've seen as a trend and will continue with this particular program is the fact that the guys who have been there have a huge advantage.
Yes.
Because of how hard they actually go in the offseason. And maybe that's why they fall off a little bit in February because they go so hard. But it's really, and Trey told me this in that feature that I wrote about him. But the one thing that you're not prepared for when you transfer up from, say, the MAC or you come from high school is just you're going to get the hell beat out of you in June and July.
Yeah.
And you're just not used to that physically.
Yeah. And guys, I'm glad you highlighted him in your premium notes here. Like, Rob Jones may not play as much as he has, but that guy is so valuable.
I was told that like all the guys look to him after practice. All right, what are we doing tonight? Like what?
It's fact.
Yeah, and he loves that role.
I'm telling you, he is worth for the locker room chemistry alone. You want that guy.
He could be like a future GA type too. I feel like. I mean, don't you think he could be a guy that's just around
again,
like a Kyle Kemp
and
type?
I've gotten to deal with some of the stuff off the court. He gets it. Like he and Taman and Trey. Trey's been great too. It's hard. It's hard for these new guys. They haven't done it before, and those guys are literally showing them how it's done. And so I think that's when you arrive as a program, C-Dub. And that's why I think some of those, Kentucky may struggle from year to year. They don't have that buy-in long term of, player to player, year to year. That's why I think Kansas has always been pretty good because they get not only your high level McDonald's All American types, but then they get those 3, 4, 5 year guys that are around to show them the ropes. And only 5 can play, 7 are on the bench and have an impact.
And that's another thing too. Like when people ask about JT Rock, and it's like, does he have the skill to come in and play? Probably. I just if a guy like Trey King size or Hassan Ward size struggled a little bit to kind of
acclimate,
get at right, like
good luck.
Have some patience here. Like
don't write him off right away.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I just the more you hear things, just league's really good.
Winning the national title.
League's really good though. Just got to remind myself.
To win the national title. Heard it here first.
But I would snatch up your tickets while you can.
Kelderman Manufacturing, thanks to our friends at Mechdine for giving us Williams and Blum on Wednesdays. This is a new part of the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network. We have some big announcements coming up. We have a new slate of shows that we are going to unleash for all of you coming up. We're still going to have a lot of Jeff Woody. Jeff is still on board. As you all know, Jared is no longer with us, moving on to bigger and better things, so we wish him the best of luck. But we will, man, how long have we been doing this? You and me have been doing Cyclone Sports Talk since 2004.
Yeah, 5.
We at KASI
5
was when we actually got published, but we have been doing it before.
We were on
that.
ISU TV before that.
Yeah,
Triple Threat Sports Show.
Old.
Cyclone.
Where did all the time go?
I was at a thing last week, and a guy stopped me. He says, "Hey, I used to watch you on local access TV." I was like, and I went, "Oh no!"
You'd watch the same episode be replayed
he's
every
like,
Friday night at 2 a.m. when the
yeah,
bars
get
closed.
Get home from Peoples, and there you losers would be.
Speaking of that, hung out with Mike Brantner, the iconic former Cyclone punter, this weekend. He lives in Nashville. I was there on a guy's trip, and
Brantner.
MBZ saw I had tweeted that I was in Nashville.
What's
and
he doing?
He lives there now. He moved
was great.
There.
He was an all timer.
Yeah, well, another little teaser. There's some Rhodes era players that are thinking about doing their own Meyer to Blythe type podcast.
Is Brantner the coolest special teams guy of all time?
He's got to be up there.
Literally.
So we were talking about this, me and my group of friends.
That guy had swagger off the charts for a walk-on punter.
I was
wild.
explaining this to them.
I don't understand it still.
He went 7 of 8 on fake punt calls in his career. Do you know that?
Yeah, and he was just
because he was an athlete.
But he's also just as successful on Welch Ave, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Like the guy.
Oh, you should have seen him in Puerto Vallarta on spring break.
Brantner, legend.
I was great.
Like, there are some guys who are like, okay, he was one of those larger than life. I'm not
and he was
surprised
a really good punter, too.
Yeah, he was really good.
But I asked him, I said, Beezy, because that's what we called him.
Is he
I go,
does he have a family
how
now?
many fake punts did you run? And he's like, 8. I got 7 of them. Knew it off the top of his head.
What's he doing now? I'm going to guess. Can I guess? I don't know. I'm going to guess he's in like medical pharmaceutical sales.
Ding, ding, ding. Every former player
who has a personality
is in medical sales.
Right.
And he's quite successful.
I'm going to guess he is.
It was a blast.
The confidence of that
bump
guy.
on. We went to that new Barstool bar down in Nashville. It was cool. It was
hobnobbing with the rich and famous now.
Yeah, I got to tell you
Nashville?
though.
Were you a
I
Nashville
used
guy?
to love Nashville.
What happened?
And I still like Nashville, but there are too many people now. It has gone from being like this awesome place to watch to now it's just
Vegas,
bachelorette parties
without the
everywhere.
casinos, yeah.
And I like it. I love the little hole in the wall dive bar honky tonks and stuff like that. I do not do crowds well, as you know.
I would not do well there.
My anxiety, I am crippling when I'm around that many people, and when they're drunk, it makes it a million. So, do I like Nashville? Yes. Would I go again? Yes. But it would be on a Tuesday and a Wednesday night where I can, I was there on a Friday and Saturday, and it was an absolute shit show.
Not in the middle of an Ed Sheeran show. In
Oh,
Nashville.
horrible.
Good job out of you on that one.
What
What was your favorite Ed Sheeran song?
I don't know any of his songs. I know the only one I knew was "She's in love with your body."
Did he sing that one?
Yeah. And I just sang it all weekend long to everybody in my crew.
I'm not surprised. You take one thing and you're relentless.
That's the only song I knew. I was a good sport to go with my friends.
How do you only know one? That is bizarre.
Because I don't listen to that stuff. Like if I don't really ever listen to music in the truck
guys-
anymore because I'm listening to books or podcasts. But
How
two,
old are you?
when I do, I'm listening to like 90s Pandora country. That's what I listen to.
Ed Sheeran still has some bangers.
It was a fine concert. Like I think that if you'd like Ed
Ed-
Sheeran, you were to be blown away. I don't
Ed-
really like him.
Aiden's here. Aiden, do the college kids listen to Ed Sheeran still?
I'd say no.
No,
Yeah, I don't.
But isn't he the most streamed
I think he
artist
is
on Spotify
I-
ever?
I think so. Like
If
even
he isn't, he was at one point.
the song "Shivers," "Bad Habits." Man, C-Dub,
I knew one that was like his first song, and I knew that I'm in love with your body.
Yeah, that's like from 10 years ago now. But
Those are the only two ones I knew.
man, Ed.
You know why I don't have a voice? You guys will like this one.
Well, we all
This is
guess.
deep into the Wednesday pod here.
Yeah.
So it was after the Ed Sheeran concert.
Oh boy.
No, I'm sorry. This was the night before. I'm sorry.
What was the drink of choice in Nashville?
For
They don't
me,
have Cody Road.
I just drink like Coors Light.
Really.
Yeah.
Okay, keep it safe.
I mean, yeah. So this was Friday night.
All right.
Not because after the Ed Sheeran concert, I was toast.
Yeah.
It's just, you know.
Yeah, you're tired.
There's so many people and God.
Mentally exhausted.
So we're at this. One of the things they do now is the bands at these honky tonks will play whatever song you want if you pay them to do it.
So it's like Howl at the Moon.
Yeah, but it's like you can do it with like a QR code.
Oh my. Yeah, okay.
I personally prefer to just go up and show them the $10 bill and be like, "Hey, this could be yours." So this is why
Like it's your kid doing a chore.
this is why I
Hey.
am hoarse. You'll love this.
Did you request William Hung?
I did not. So this group of guys that I'm with, it's like an inside joke that our favorite artist is the old 90s country artist Mark Chestnut. And we make a joke that he's like the greatest artist of all time.
Nobody knows who he is.
He's the going to the big D and don't mean Dallas.
Got it.
So I go up to this place. It's really late at night, night of drinking. And I request Mark Chestnut. And I showed this young lady who was up there a crisp $10 bill.
Crisp.
And I said, "Ma'am," she called for a request. I said, "I would like to request some Mark Chestnut, please." And they go, "Well, what song?" I go, "Going to the Big D and Don't Mean Dallas." And
They know it.
the guitar singer, who was male, because the female artist wasn't doing Mark Chestnut songs because it doesn't vibe, he's like, "We don't know that one, but we do have some Mark Chestnut, and we'll play it here coming up." Okay.
Nice.
Go back to the back of the honky.
Did they take the $10?
Took $10. And we're about 10, 15 songs in after that. No Mark Chestnut.
Oh no.
They're playing,
We got jobbed.
they're playing all kinds of crazy stuff. Like, this isn't what I signed up for. And then they go again. They keep going like, "All right, we're still taking requests." So I lost my damn mind. I'm like, "Mark Chestnut!" And it's loud in there. So I just kept going, "I paid $10 for Mark Chestnut. God damn it." And they finally sang Brother Jukebox. And you could tell they were just reluctantly playing Mark Chestnut, too.
Did they
did
know
not-
it though?
Yeah, they played it really well.
Okay.
If they just would have done it an hour ago when I paid for it, I would have a voice today.
Who's to blame here? Maybe it should have been a 20.
I'm a very charitable man to
Maybe it
these
should have
Nashville
been a 20.
singers. Especially
$10 for them though. That's
when
like,
I get a few beers in me,
that's
I'll,
like half a Coors Light.
I'll
in
pay
Nashville.
$20 to hear
Whoa.
Troubadour if I feel like it.
What was the price for Coors Light?
And
And you were
it just
probably you were
depends.
high roller, so you probably
$5,
didn't pay.
$7. No, I paid a lot. $5, $7. It just kind of depends.
All right.
I tell you what, though, they do have good deals if you go in the afternoon there.
Well, you drink early enough, you could always get a great deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it's a lot of fun. I like it, but man, a Friday, Saturday in the summer just is not a great idea if you don't like crowds. The last time I went to Nashville, I was there on like a Monday and Tuesday night.
A lot better.
Yeah, and it was awesome, and I loved it.
So you will not be doing Ragbri anytime
No,
soon.
God, no. I hope everybody has a good time. I think it's a terrible
We'll be
idea.
riding through Ankeny.
Yeah, it's
today.
cool.
Yeah.
Sure, it's cool.
Mhm.
I personally want nothing to do with it.
Fair enough.
Wishing you the best of luck with your towels.
Thank you.
Hope a lot of people buy them.
We'll have those on Ragbri. If you're listening to this on Wednesday, come see us. State Street and 18th.
Yeah, you can buy a towel.
Go buy a towel. It's not.
right.
It's a donation.
It's a donation to the We Will Collective.
Towel.
He's Brent Bloom. My name is Chris Williams. Thanks to Aiden Wyatt for producing today. We'll be back with Williams and Bloom coming up on Sunday night here on the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network.